Om Ganana Dva Ganapatikum Navamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspada Anashrinvanno Divisita Sadhanam Om Sri Sadguru Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Narayadaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat Mahadevi cha Vidmahe Vishnuvatni cha Dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi Prachodayat Tatpurushaya Vidmahe Mahasenaya Dhimahi Tanna Shanmuga Prachodayat Bhutanataya Vidmahe Bhavaputraya Dhimahi Tanna Shasta Prachodayat Mangalaya Budaya cha Guru Shukra Sanibhyascha Rahave Ketave Namo Namaha Anjaneyaya Vidmahe Vayuputraya Dhimahi Tanno Hanumat Prachodayat Katyayanaya Vidmahe Kanyakumari Dhimahi Tanno Durgih Prachodayat Tatpurushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishaje Bhavarohinam Nithaje Sarvavidhyanam Sri Dakshina Murtaje Namaha Sadguru Charanara Vindabhyam Namaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Garishyami Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Triyambage Gauri Narayani Namostute Namo Uradavataje Namo Ganapataje Namah Pramadavataje Namaste Stulambodharaya Jekanandaya Vigna Virajine Sri Varadamurtaje Namo Namaha Vakradundavaha Kaya Surya Kodi Samat Prabha Nirvignam Guru Vedeva Sarvagaryesha Sarvada Vinayaka Nidamastari Garadevada Namo Namaha Sarva Aparada Kshamartam Sarva Mangala Praptyartham
Alankara Panchapadarikam Darshayami Divya Rakshan Dharayami Namaskaromi Indrastomi Navandadashe Namadhyabidum Vatena Saharena Raksha Rakshan Dharayami.
Where does the box that you ship this in? I have not yet begun selling them.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Pretty much
Happy New Year to everyone.
I had everything covered.
If you are not speaking, can you please mute? Can you please mute?
To bring my products to the next level, which is basically having an AutoCAD drawing, all patents, and getting
Maybe we should mute them, Dr. Nair.
What it takes to build one, you know, what the pieces are, and then also go into the patents you're trying to put together.
They're basically made out of
Dr. Nair.
children's products and toys. You made the toy fair yet? I haven't. I mostly work in like.
I'm trying to mute everybody. I don't know. It shows that all the silent people are muted.
$25,000.
I think Shrikant is not muted, Prasanna.
Shrikantji. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste to everyone. Happy New Year. And may I request Murali to introduce and welcome Sucheta ji. And Sucheta ji, this is just our fortune, and it's just a divine call that you just wanted to do it today. And we were just hoping that any day would do, but this is our first day of the year 2021. And after Murali Jatla, Dr. Jatla introduces you, and after your discourse, after Hanuman Chalisa, Dr. Biram and Dr. Nair would say a few words on behalf of Hindu Temple. Is that okay, Dr. Nair and Dr. Biram?
I will leave it to Dr. Biram. Yes.
Okay. Dr. Biram.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Murali, over to you. And thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. Thank you, Shuchita ji, for making time for us. And I have the privilege of introducing her. Brahmacharini Shuchita is the resident spiritual guide of Chinmay Mission Austin. She graduated from Austin College with a degree in Spanish and biology. She then did a master's of public health at UT Houston. She worked in research and teaching. She was a Bala Vihara student in Orlando. and a Chinmay Yuva Kendra or CHIC member in Houston and Dallas. And she finished a youth empowerment program, YEP America. And she organized and conducted several camps and retreats for various age groups through our college, professional and mission organizations. She joined the 17th Vedanta course in 2017 until under the tutelage of Swami Bodhatmananda ji. And she was given Brahmacharya Diksha during Navaratri in 2019. And we are blessed to have her at Chinmay Mission Austin since then. And on a personal note, I will say that it's not an easy thing to do. She joined us and then COVID hit, and she has learned all of us pretty much virtually. She spent a little bit of time with us before everything changed, and she's done a wonderful job of getting to learn all the families that participate in Chinmay Austin. She's privileged to serve Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji through conducting classes and spreading the joy of the timeless knowledge of Vedanta. She enjoys listening to live music, going for walks, and discussing the application and understanding of Vedanta in our daily lives, and she'll do that today. Thank you, Suchita ji, for joining us.
Thank you, Muraliji. That was a mouthful, but thank you for sticking it out. Hari Om to everybody. Namaste. If you all can turn on your videos, I would appreciate that. It's enough that we are remote to begin with. At least to be able to see one another is something, and I know Muraliji knows, I request that in all of my classes. If you feel like turning it off later, go ahead, but at least initially, it's wonderful to see other human beings, your smiles, your faces, all of that. And Happy New Year to all of you. I'm lucky this is the first of your series happening this year, so I get to wish you all first. And I know that 2020 was tough, like Muraliji said. I think 3 or 4 months after I got out of self-imposed quarantine at a Vedanta course, we had a government-imposed quarantine here. Would it be possible to make me co-host or someone to watch the muting? Because I feel like they're coming in and then they're not aware that it's not me. Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Nair, yes.
Okay.
I think we can make you co-host.
Okay, no problem. That way I can at least catch it because I can see it on my end and be able to continue. All right, so like I was saying, 2020 was a year of a lot of lessons learned, how to continue satsang on a digital platform. I am definitely someone who used to call the IT guys whenever I needed help. And when we had to be our own IT people, we were forced to learn so many new skills, and everything is helping us grow, helping us connect to one another and stay connected. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn so many ways to stay in touch with all of you. And I hope 2021, we have so many skills and we don't waste them, we use them, and we don't start taking life for granted again and human interaction for granted again. So I hope we will get to see each other in person more when there's events at your temples that you attend in person, and when there's programs, when there's classes, we all take advantage of being there. So that being said, we will get started with today's topic. So we'll first do some opening prayers. We'll do 3 Oms, Sahana Bhavatu,
Yeah.
and get started with our class.
Gara. అది ఫోన్ లో చూడాలి ఇక ఇంట్లో చూసేటట్లేదు.
Bhaskar Garu, can you please mute?
All right, thank you. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitparam. Sadgurum Brahmavitparam. So, as it is, one, the beginning of the year, and two, you are a Omkara Ganapati temple. It seems auspicious, and I was asked to speak about Ganapati Atharva Shirsha, but that is such a beautiful, that's such a beautiful Upanishad, actually, that it maybe in another occasion you'll get to hear it. But at least today, we'll do a little bit of an overview of it and just the Shanti Patha of it. So that is the topic for today. Now, first, just a brief overview. If you know this, great. If you don't, then you learn something new. So bear with me. When we have serious questions about our spirituality, not just about diet and exercise, not just about how to be more efficient in the workplace, not just about how to make more money, how to get more Lakshmi. Those are sakama karma. Those are things that we have so many desires and we want to fulfill them. It's a different aspect of our scriptures. But when we start asking the questions that require the Shastras to give us the answers, such as things where Shastras are the only pramana, what happens after death? What is our purpose of life here? That if we see time as a cyclical thing, then how do you get out of this cycle? Because ups and downs are only fun when you're new to it. If you try to put a 60 or 70-year-old on a roller coaster, I'm sure you'll react differently than having someone who's 12 or 13 trying to ride a roller coaster. As we go through experiences in life, our spiritual growth starts becoming a priority for us. That is when we seek the Upanishads. That is only the beginning of a true spiritual life. Until then, everything else is, we can't even say pre-step, it's before that even. It's pre-preparation to have a focused mind, to be healthy enough, to sit in a class without falling asleep, to have enough rest at nighttime, to not have so much rajas, to be in a state of sattva. All of these are way before we get to the study of the Upanishads. Now, once we get to the Upanishads, we are willingly, keyword willingly, ready to transform our lives. We don't have our parents nagging us. We don't have spouses nagging us. We don't have children giving us vairagya for whatever reason. It's because we want to change. It's because we are seeking something more than the daily humdrum of what's happening. Only then will it bear fruit. Otherwise, it will remain an intellectual study and you can get a PhD in it. You can do whatever you want with it. But it won't change who we are. It won't change how we live. And most importantly, it won't change how peaceful or happy we are, which is the point of studying all of these Shastras, to get to that liberation or moksha. Now, how all of this learning, all of this knowledge was initially was many different samhitas, and it was an oral tradition. It was apaurushaya. It was revelations given by rishis that others were able to learn through a Guru Shishya Parampara. Veda Vyasji was the first to compile these Vedas into a written format for us to access later. He knew that the human beings that would come later in Kalikalam wouldn't be able to memorize all of these things. And the oral tradition needed to change. He was a revolutionary. We know even today, when we're trying to change a system, most of the time the world is against you. Even in your workplace, if you want to change even how you run a meeting, you want to try something new in your leadership style, there's always going to be a little bit of resistance. Now, Veda Vyasji went against what was the traditional oral way of passing on our scriptures, and he compiled it. And he compiled it into four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. And as he compiled these four, Rig, Yajuhu, Sama Veda, they were practiced between the Ganga and the Yamuna Delta, and the Atharva Veda was practiced to the west of the Sindhu River. So Veda Vyasji traveled, he studied and learned from that Guru Shishya Parampara who had that Veda as a part of their lineage, because different rishis come from different lineages. And you have to go to them to study that. In Chinmaya Mission, we're Yajur Veda. So whenever we chant something, Krishna Yajur Veda, that's our way of chanting. But if you want to learn Shukla Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, you must go to that Guru Shishya Parampara. And so Veda Vyasji went, learned, came back, taught his students, and then his students had to write everything. Now, that was a general overview of the four Vedas. Now, the Ganapati Atharva Shirsha, it is a part of the Atharva Veda. And the Shanti Pata that we are going to look at today is also part of the Atharva Veda. That's why we gave this background. Anytime we study our scriptures, it's very important to not be dogmatic about it. We come from a Guru Shishya Parampara of Vichara. Vichara means to think, to understand, to grapple with things. It doesn't come from straight, okay, he did, she did, therefore I did. It is not a sheep mentality. In fact, when our rishis had come up with their own darshanas, their ways of thinking, you have the three main ones, but many more are there. You have Dvaita Vedanta, Adi Shankaracharya ji. Then you have Dvaita Madhvacharya ji. Then you have Vishishta Dvaita, Ramanujacharya ji. Whenever they came up with their darshanas, it was just like defending a dissertation. They had to list every single part of their belief system, how the creation happened, what was the material cause of the universe. So many aspects had to be thought of. Not only that, they needed to look at the Prasthanatrayi meaning the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras, and comment on that as to why their way of looking at the world, darshana is philosophy, their way of seeing the world, why that was true. Then they not only had to comment on it, they had to go and engage in debates with scholars, rishis, all over Bharat, all over India. And they see, for us, when you debate something, it's some show that you watch or some pastime, because you have nothing better to do. It's COVID, you might as well debate something, right? For them, it was only with conviction that they spoke. In fact, Adi Shankaracharya ji, in his debate with Mandan Mishra ji, they both wagered that if you can convince me, I will join your matha and make that my purpose in life, to educate others on that, my purpose in life. And of course, Adi Shankaracharya ji won over through his debate, his philosophy, and his student Sureshwara, he got sannyas. Sureshwaracharya ji became one of his best students, and brought the Advaita philosophy forward. So questioning, critical thinking, understanding, applying, all of these are a part of our tradition. It's not something people from outside had taught us or pushed us to do. It's something that we are born with. We have it in our parampara, we have it in our blood, which is a beautiful thing. It's up to us to keep that alive and not lose it. So, just as all of these things are questioned and we try to grapple with, what is Bhagavan? I'm going to keep using the word Bhagavan because that's the appropriate term for God. So, who is Bhagavan? Their role in our life, our role in this world. So now we get to Ganeshji, Ganapati Atharva Shesha, Ganesh Atharva Shesha, all the same thing. Whenever we take a single deity and make that the supreme, that it ends up being a very different philosophy. Adi Shankaracharya ji did something known as this Panchayatana Puja. What is the Panchayatana Puja? It's a way of doing puja in which the 5 main deities that were common at that time before Bhakti. Now, Bhakti is relatively new. Before Bhakti, it was known as Upasana. Upasana and Karma Kanda are one part of our Vedas. And in those, there were 5 main deities. You had Shaivas, Vaishnavas, Sauryas, Surya Bhagavan worshippers. Then you had Ganapatyas, those who worship Ganapati, and you had Shaktas, those who worship Shakti. Whenever we say, my mother is the best mother in the world, are we saying all other mothers are terrible? No. We are saying we love our mother has done so much for us, we have that personal connection with them. But it's not a ninda, it's not a criticism of any other mothers. Whenever, and this is an important point, whenever we say my God is better than your God, within us, that ends up crossing over to fanaticism. It's stepping away from our philosophy, from moksha. It's distracting us. So in this Panchayatana Puja, the Bhagavan that we're connected with is placed in the center, and the other 4 are placed around it, and there's a particular way to do it. And Adi Shankaracharya ji wrote stutis on so many. Almost every deity you can think of, he has written a Panchakam, a Dashakam, something is there. He showed his love and respect for all of them. But what he would do is, let's say it's a Panchakam. In the first 4 stanzas, he would put the Sakara, Saguna aspects, meaning with the name, with the form. He would glorify the name and the form. But in the last verse, he would say that Satchidananda is Paramatma one. Beyond all of these names and forms. Even in the name of your temple, Omkara Ganapati. Ganapati is a name. With that Ganapati, you have a form. You have all these attributes. But what is that Omkara? That's Paramatma. That is that consciousness. So even in that name, you have Nirguna and Saguna. Now, we will look at the Shanti Patha of this Ganapati Atharva Shesha. The entire Ganapati Atharva Shesha, you will find Saguna, Sakara descriptions of Danta. You talk about his Dantavakra, you say. Then you talk about his ears, Karana. You talk about all of these things. But you also get down to that Satchidananda, that Omkara, that consciousness. So that's the overview of the Atharva Shesha. Now, the Shanti Patha of this, if you have it, you can open it and chant along. It is Bhadrang Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha. So if you have it, you can open it. Otherwise, you can listen. It's a beautiful mantra. And the other thing about mantras that are in our Upanishads, there is a particular way in which they must be chanted. They are not like shlokas where you can have different tunes. There is udatta, anudatta, swarita. There are particular ways in which they need to be chanted. Perhaps different shakhas chant it differently, but even they have a lineage and a way they follow. So the way I'll be chanting is Krishna Yajurveda. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangaiः Stuštuvagam Sastanubhih Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indro Vriddhashavaah Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaah Swasti nastarkshyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So what are we asking in this Shanti Patha? Om Bhadrang Karne Bhishrunuyama Devaha. Bhadrang Karne. May I be alert in what I hear. Shrunuyama Devaha. May everything I hear be auspicious. Now, what does that mean? That means, see, this is what we do generally. As human beings, this is unfortunately what we do. As we hear something, we are doing this dual processing where we're judging it, we're categorizing it, we're attacking it, we're deciphering it. That's why people say there's a difference between hearing and listening. When we're listening, it's going in. But when we hear it, we're genuinely trying to understand what's happening. We're not trying to have other processes going on. We don't have any judgment happening. Even when we listen to other people, when we hear what they're saying, there's a difference. So when I am at least sitting in this seat of as student or in the seat of meditation, may I have my ears open without constantly doubting. This is where Shraddha comes in. Again, it's not said that you just follow things because they're given to you, but you give things the benefit of the doubt. Now that's something people of my generation had to learn because I was brought up in the American system, right, of learning everything. So then when you go to school, when Shakespeare says something or Rousseau says something, you don't question that. They're epics, they're great. But when Vedavyashi says something, you question. When you have science saying something, even if they switch back and forth, you don't question. But when you see Jyotisha Shastra, you're like, oh, this stuff, and you roll your eyes. Without giving it a chance, we dismiss things. When we hear things from our Shastra, when our parents tell us on this day, don't do this. On this day, don't cut your nails. This day, don't cut your hair. This is an auspicious day to do this. Instead of wiping it away as superstition, can we go and dig into our Shastras and find the reason for it? When we talk about how in our Jyotisha Shastra, a particular full moon day is a day when the mind is very tumultuous. Can we go into our Shastras and find why this is so? And I guarantee you, at least in everything that I have questioned personally and went back to a guru or the Shastras, I have been given my evidence. But if I go in there saying this is a bunch of baloney and I'm not even going to think about it, that I'm just sitting here to get through the class, then we one, are starting off with very, very low Shraddha. And two, we have completely closed our mind and intellect to this knowledge. Because if I doubt the smaller things, how am I supposed to accept that I am Brahman? If I doubt the Vastu Shastra, if I doubt Puja Vidhi, if I doubt Ishvara, if someone was saying that, yes, I'm a Hindu, yes, I believe in everything, but I don't believe in reincarnation. That's something I can't get behind. Reincarnation, Punarjanma, is a part of what we believe as a Hindu. How can we say I am a Hindu without believing in reincarnation? Again, I'm not saying thrust that idea upon you and okay, fine, I believe it. No. Look into the Shastras. Why do we bring up Punarjanma? Punarjanma is brought up to explain diversity. Diversity of experiences, diversity in physique, diversity in the plants and the animal kingdom. When we carry the vasanas from one janma to the next, then you have these tendencies. You can't explain how twins are born with the same genetics, but they grow up to be different people. Why? There has to be something more than what science can give us. And even science is looking for that. Punarjanma is one of the pillars of Karma Siddhanta. And without practicing Karma Siddhanta, understanding and respecting Karma Siddhanta, this Vedanta won't even enter. So what does it mean? Bhadran karne bhishnuyama devaha. May I listen with alertness, without judging, without jumping to conclusions and doubting. Even if I'm born with less Shraddha, may Bhagavan, you give me Shraddha enough to continue to listen when I'm being taught something new. The other thing is, sometimes we have our books open trying to read the meaning of things while somebody's teaching it. That's the biggest distraction. When someone is trying to teach something, Shravanam, first we must listen intently with the purpose of hearing every word they say. There's some Guru Shishya Paramparas, well, Swami Tapona Maharaj, he would not let his students take notes at all. I'll only teach you the next lesson. If you've understood the last lesson, what's the last lesson? I already taught it to you, no notes. That's how sharp the mind must be. That is Shravanam. What we do today, what in the Vedanta course, we recorded everything. I had to listen to it 5 times. And then when the teacher would ask me, I would still be like, huh? Which word did you say? That's how dull we've gotten. But may my ears hear what is auspicious without judgment. Then after the Shravanam, then Mananam can happen. What is that Mananam? That is that churning that happens. And we do that Mananam not on some random YouTube videos, TED Talks, and all that stuff we've read or seen. Whatever the Guru has taught, thinking about that, we ask a question. If we come to, and there's people that will read so many different things and ask me, how about this, how about that? I've studied Advaita Vedanta. I'm sorry, I cannot answer questions about different religions. If we come in with those doubts, then we haven't given space for our current understanding to even take a hold. The hardest thing is to unlearn. The hardest thing is to unlearn all the false things we've learned. When we went to the Vedanta course, there were people who didn't even know what Hari-Om was. They're like, why do we say that? And there were people who had studied all the Upanishads already, and they had come for a systematic training. And I kid you not, those who came in with a clean slate were like sponges. She didn't know a word of Sanskritam. She was chanting Mandukya Upanishad. And those of us with some kind of background, we come in doing khichdi of this and that. In this Upanishad, it said this. Oh, but at home we do that. Oh, but my aunt and uncle said that. We come in with all of this khichdi and then we say, okay, the Shastras are wrong. Cleaning our slate and starting with what the Guru is saying. That, Bhagwan, give me the patience to do that. Then, Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryatraha. May I see only auspiciousness. The lower way of understanding that is, I'm going to not look when there's bad things happening. How long will we do that living in this world? That's not possible. The higher way of understanding is, no matter what Bhagavan puts in front of me, whatever experience it is, may I only see the good in that. Even the most difficult things that come to me, may I have that prasada buddhi. Bhagavan, whatever you give me, it's for my growth. I will take it and learn. Instead of saying, why did this happen to me? Take out the why and the did. This happened to me, period. How do I move forward? If I don't know how, Bhagavan help me, Guru help me. So may I see only what is auspicious and look forward. We spend most of our time looking back at things. Oh, I wish this, I wish that, I shouldn't have this, I could have that. May I only look forward with optimism and hope. And of course, the highest understanding. If we don't let our likes and dislikes, our raga and dveshas, color the world around us, what isn't auspicious? Everything is his creation. Everything is that Paramatma alone, that consciousness alone. Therefore, everything is auspiciousness. What is there to look at and not look at? So the different ways of understanding that. Then, Tushtuvagum sastanubihi. May I be content with everything you give me. May I say, Bhagavan, this is enough. I'm not going to ask you for anything else. Make sure I use everything I have to the full potential. We get all of these gadgets and technology and stuff now. Take your iPhone. For those of you who have iPhones or fancy Android phones. How much of that phone do we actually utilize to its full potential? We take a couple of pictures. We watch some TV shows. Download a couple of things. But do we really use the phone to its full potential all the time? The human mind, do we even use our mind to the full potential? Doctors say 20%. We have doctors on the call. That we don't really use our entire brain to its full capacity. So may I be content with what you've given me and use that to the fullest. That's all I need to do. I have enough. Just give me the strength to dig deep and use it. And not become lazy. Not become stagnant. Not become too comfortable. That I challenge myself to grow. Otherwise, there's no difference between being born as a human being and being born as an animal or a plant. The human birth is beautiful in that it gives us the opportunity to make choices, to challenge ourselves. May I take advantage of this birth for the good, to be of service to people around me. Then, Vyashema Deva Hitam Yadayuhu. This is also beautiful. We don't ask for more of our lifespan. May I live 100 years. Priests and stuff, they bless. Shatamanam. For 100 years may you live. No, thank you. We don't need to live for that long. This is also important. We don't need to ask, may my life end now. I've done enough. Or this is too much. Either side of it, we don't need to ask. Whatever, Vyashema Deva Hitam Yadayuhu, as long as my prarabdha, my lifespan for this jiva in this body is, may I be healthy. It's not about how long we live, it's about how well we live. And as we get older, we understand that. Because when we're young, we think we're going to live forever, right? But as we get older, okay, am I still able to do what I want to do? Am I able to serve others, be kind to others, be compassionate? Or am I getting grouchy, impatient? So for as long as my lifespan is, may I be healthy, may I be of service to others, and more importantly, may I focus on my spiritual growth. The problem is we only think about spiritual growth when our limbs and stuff are, oh, I had skipped that. Sthirairangaihi stushtuvam sastanubhi. So may all of my angas, my body parts, be strong and flexible. So that's a part of this lifespan. May in this lifespan, may my body parts, may my mind, may my intellect be functional. That's what I ask of you. I don't want to live 100 years, 150 years. I don't want to set any records. For as long as I live, may I be healthy and doing service to others and focusing on my growth. Then, swastina indro vriddha shravaha. We pray to Indra Bhagavan. What does Indra Bhagavan represent? The intellect. May the intellect be sharp. May every moment of our life, we be conscious of what comes out of our mouth. The actions that we take. Are we just reacting to the world? I'm a free soul, Sufitaji. I do what I feel like doing. I don't believe in freedom. I don't believe in discipline. I do what I want. Nobody needs to grant me any freedom. Okay. How many ups and downs is that going to take us in? Nobody's going to stop them, right? We just will face a lot more ups and downs without this discipline. So may my intellect know what the right thing is and control the mind, tame the mind, work with the mind. That when the mind wants to do a lot of janjat and dancing, the intellect can say, okay, I see you. I see you, mind. I see you're having a tough day. I see that you are not able to focus. These are the things that help you cope and be better because of this instability at the mind level. Here, listen to this music that helps you. Talk to this person who will guide you appropriately. Take a break. Go for a walk. Go for a run. The mind will not be perfect all the time. That's not what we're expecting. But we want Bhagavan to make sure the intellect is aware that when the mind is up and down, we know what to do, that does the least amount of harm to ourselves and those around us. Indra, the intellect, also is controlling our memory. May we not dwell on things in the past that we don't need to be, being stuck in certain places in our lives. And with all the indriyas, may we have control over the taste, the tongue, whatever we eat. May we not overeat. May we not overindulge. Whatever we watch, may we not binge watch. Oh, but I'm binge watching satsanga, Shuchitaji. Even binge watching satsanga, if you don't get proper sleep, is not good. Even that sattva can come hinder us. We still have our duties as grihastas, as vanaprasthas, whatever it is. We have our varnashrama duties, dharma. That needs to be maintained, everything in moderation. So that is why Indra is invoked. Then swastiraf pusha vishwavedaha. Pushan, Surya Bhagavan. We pray to all of the elements, Surya Bhagavan representing all of the elements, without which life is impossible. Without the sun, there is no nourishment, there's no growth, Everything dies without the sun. So we invoke Mother Nature, Devi, Bhudevi, to help us on this path. And another way of looking at the sun is that illumination itself, that light without which nothing else can be enlivened. So Pushan also represents that consciousness. Natatra Suryo Bhati na Chandra Tarakam. That without that consciousness, nothing else can be enlivened. So it can be referring to that consciousness in the form of illumination itself, not just what is illuminated. And may I have balance. That nature always knows how to balance itself. And that's a science that environmentalists study. It's a science that physicists study. I remember my brother was doing some lab and he's like, we're just trying to figure out how we can create water or an energy harnessing system through water that the rain does. Through the process of rain, how we can mimic that in a lab. And to get the same amount of splattering and the droplets to go in the right direction. Mother Nature is incredible. If you ever even looked at the skeleton of a leaf, the veins of a leaf, how it functions, how seeds, a pomegranate, that science, the geometry of it, it's beautiful. There's always balance. So may we be balanced in our thinking and in our living. Then the last two, Garuda. Garuda ji carries the Vedas. So sorry, Garuda is a reference to Swasti Nastarkshu Arishta Nemihi. So that line is speaking about getting blessings from Garuda Bhagavan, who is a vehicle of Bhagavan Vishnu, but also the one who carries the Vedas. So may I be available to the teachings. And when they're brought to me, we're lucky that we can sit at home, turn on a computer, and Shastras will pour out. But may I be available. May I not have CNN running in the background or texting on the side or cooking while I'm listening. May I be available to it. Then the last one, Brahaspati. So, Swasti no Brahaspatir dadhatu. Brahaspati Maharaj is referring to all of the gurus, the entire Guru Parampara. So when we ask for Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, when we say that about our Guru, may that Guru spark the desire to know the truth in us. Otherwise, it's so easy to live not just one janma, dozens of janmas without thinking why. It's so easy to keep going in this rat race. So may the Guru have that spark in us, create Brahmaji creation, create that spark in us to learn. And so many of us, okay, beginning of the year, beginning of class, I'm going to attend everything. I'm going to sit for an hour for meditation. 10 minutes in, we're already distracted and our foot's asleep. Right? So may our Guru help us sustain our desire to grow spiritually, our desire for this truth and knowledge. And finally, that's the Vishnu. Then Maheshwara. May our Guru destroy all the negativities, not outside of us. That's nothing compared to the negativities inside of us. So may our Guru destroy the negativities inside of us so that we can sit at the seat of meditation, sit in front of Shastra, in front of Guru with surrender, without the ego coming at us every 2 minutes, saying, but I think, but I heard, but me. But this doesn't work for me. It works for you, but not me. Every second word for us is about me, I. So may that not get in the way. May I surrender to Guru and the Guru help me move forward. And we end with 3 Shantis. The 3 Shantis invoking peace, for us at the body level, the mind level, and the intellect level. Because no matter how much sadhana we do, see, it's like you want to exercise, right? Let's say for 7, 8 days, 9 days, you're able to get on the elliptical or whatever. You're able to go for the run or go biking. But then the entire next week or even 3 days, you stop that habit. How much more difficult it is to get back into it. Even if you skip 1 or 2 times, it's so difficult to get into that routine. So even if we work so hard on our sadhana, attend dozens of classes every week, if internally we're not balanced, if internally there isn't any peace or stability, the roller coaster is going to keep going. You'll have binges of spiritual growth and binges of being lazy and stagnant. And that is going to, net result is going to be backwards, actually, not even 0. Because for every 1 hour satsang I attend, Suchitaji, I'm going to have 10 minutes of doing something rajasic. The best thing that you hear is I'm going to attend this puja for New Year's from 10 to 11. Then 11 to 1, we're going to a party. And all of the rajas happens at the party. What is the net gain? Nothing. So may whatever I do in moderation so I can keep up with it in terms of my sadhana and keep it balanced. I don't need to go to the extremes. Trust me, your family members will feel it when you go to the extremes. May I be balanced in what I do and maintain it. So those are the 3 Shantis. That is the Shanti Patha of the Ganapati Atharva Shirsha. And I will finish with Purnamadaha, if that's okay. And you all can go on with your Hanuman Chalisa. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sucheta ji. Thank you so much. Would you have time to stay until Hanuman Chalisa and for some comments by Dr. Nair, Dr. Biram, and others?
Yes.
Anup, do you want to?
Yes, Raju.
So if you don't mind, so this will go for about 8 to 9 minutes, Hanuman Chalisa, the MS Subbalakshmi style. And then after that, up to probably until 8:15, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Sri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nija Mana Mukur Sudari Baranau Raghuvar Vimalayasu Jodayaka Falachari Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vikaram जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूता तुलित बलधाम अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा बिराजे कांडे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिवे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर समारे, रामचंद्र के काज समारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा, नारद शारद सहित ईशा। यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीना। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपै, तीनों लोक हांकते कांपै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै, महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुवरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट हटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो 100 बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साकी गौरीशा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महाडेरा। की जय नाथ हृदय महाडेरा। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, जय बोलो हनुमान की। जय बोलो हनुमान की। जय बोलो हनुमान की। पवन तनया संकट हरणा, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूपा। हृदय बसहु सुरभूपा। सुरभूपा सुरभूपा सुरभूपा। Om. Thank you.
Rose bead.
Dr. Beeram.
Thank you, Raju. Suchita ji, my name is Madhav. On behalf of Onkara Mahaganapati Devasthanam, we really want to thank you for taking time and giving us this very inspiring spirituality talk. And I have a request, a comment, and a question. I hope I won't take too much of time. First request is, would you be kind enough to speak with us at least once a month? We will be blessed if you could do that.
I am sure we'll figure something out so we can do this. Yeah.
And a comment is, when you talked about reincarnation, some of us take care of newborn babies in the intensive care units. There is, either it has to be an accident for those things to happen. If we believe in any kind of organized divinity, Hinduism is the only one that can explain it. Because you have very sick babies, innocent, freshly born, with all the tubes. And everything, right? So it cannot be explained in any other way. So they must have done something in the previous life for them to pay the price. Or if you look at differently, you have to really blame God, that God is heartless to make innocent babies to suffer that way. But best explanation is reincarnation and the karma and things they have done in their previous life. That was my comment. I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
Yeah, well, I think one thing I'd like to say is, when we say that they must have done something in their last life to have this, we're assuming a lot there. And I don't think we need to assume that much. Because if you look at our Puranas, even when you look at Shantanu and Gangadevi, right? The first few children were lost. It's not because they had done some kind of papa that they had to leave in this world. It's that because they had done something, so they had to live, but to go back was them being able to be released from samsara. So they were able to leave whatever prarabdha that may have been. And in so many other stories in the Puranas, there's young children that die, and the mother and father beg Naradji to let me see that child, right? Please bring them back. And when these parents, even though Naraji said that's not a good idea, that child has moved on, that jiva has moved on, they're no longer your child, the parents don't listen because of the attachment. And the parents say, it doesn't matter, we want to see them. And what happens is when these parents go to recover their so-called son or daughter, that child says, who are you? And the parents are like, I'm your mom, I'm your dad. Which mom, which dad? I've been through dozens of mothers, dozens of fathers. In those dozens, who are you? Right? So then the parents get that larger perspective on life and how the coming and going of a jiva is not just as coming and going as a child would come and go, you know? It's that jiva's journey. It has nothing to do with us, and we are no one to judge that jiva. So I wouldn't say that, oh, you did a papam, therefore this, or you did a punyam, therefore this. We don't know any of that. Only Ishvara knows the accounts of everything. And we can't tell whether that child is happier here or there, and which loka that child is going into, that jiva is going into, in fact. So it is difficult. I can't even begin to imagine how, as physicians, you all see these things. But to know that you have Shastra and Ishvara that is working on a divine plan, working on a grander scheme to ensure that that jiva is going towards moksha, that's all we need to be grateful for and pray for. We don't need to take responsibility for things that are not in our control. And we don't need to blame or put responsibility on that poor child that, like you said, has been born just to live and go. So even that child, we can't say you've done something for this to happen.
I have another question, but probably I don't.
Yeah, we can do it later.
Do our best.
Dr. Nair.
Well, I just want to thank Suchita ji for this wonderful presentation, and I can't wait to hear more from you. And you know, and I want to thank Murali also to making this arrangement. And I have met you, as I mentioned in my email, quite a few months ago.
Yes.
Thank you for that opportunity, and thank you for coming, and please come again.
Of course, thank you so much. And I do recall you coming and visiting, and we got some time to chat with Swamiji. So that was wonderful. We got to do that before all of this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is Shamala ji there, Dr. Nair?
Shyamala's leg was hurting, so she just got up. I can call her.
Yeah. Shamala ji is our Asthana Acharya here. And she went to so many of Gurudev's courses. And I also was one of those fortunate ones who attended Guruji's lectures like live. I was so fortunate.
Fortunate indeed, all of you who are able to see him.
And then we went to Uttarakashi. Shamalaji and Dr. Nair attended the courses there too, and I also had an opportunity to visit. In the meantime, Murali, any comments? And then ask Dr. Samba Reddy.
No, I'm just grateful for Suchita spending time with us.
Thank you. And Shamalaji, I just want you to say a few words, please.
I listened to the whole thing, and sorry, I just left. I know it was a great talk, you know, as young as she is, you know, it was nice. It was nice listening. And he said some very practical things about the way of learning and other things, you know. How, you know, somebody who went to the ashram without even knowing a word of Sanskrit, how that person picked up everything versus other people who had learned things before and just had problem, you know. So it is really our outlook on life which makes a big difference, you know.
Thank you. And may I ask Dr. Samba Reddy and Jashbinaji, they are from College Station. So Shivatmananda used to come to College Station when I was in College Station. And Samba, do you want to ask or say a few words?
Yeah, I think I listened to her lecture. Very, very interesting. I mean, I am not as scholarly knowledgeable as Dr. Raju, but and my association here with the Omkarnath temple made me, interesting in all these. But yeah, thank you for the enlightening conversation, and hoping for more. As Dr. Biram requested you to come every month, I'll be delighted to join listening to you.
Anup Shetty, he actually is expounding on Hanuman Chalisa every Monday, and he chanted with so much of fervor. Anup, do you want to say a few words?
Thank you for the opportunity. I feel blessed to be able to sing today. And thank you, Suchitaji. Look forward to meeting you. I live in Dallas. So thank you.
And Srinidhi Garu and Sriram Garu. And Sriram Garu's voice was not that good today. I hope he's okay. His lead was a little bit hoarse. They have such a divine voice and they are our priests. So we begin these prayers with their chanting and of course mantras from Ganesha Dharvashesha also. And we end with Hanuman Chalisa, and in between, so Mondays, about Hanuman. Tuesday, Shamalaji is expounding on Durga Saptashati. And Wednesday, we have taken a few excerpts from Gita. And then Thursday, we have been inviting the guest speakers from all over the country and from India. And Swami Shivatmananda has been coming occasionally. Then Friday, we have Sri Ram Sarvottam expounding on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So this has been going on for the last 6 months. And so I tried to get you 3 or 4 different ways. I know your parents so very well. So I went to your dad and asked, I may ask you to do me a favor. Me and my wife, we love your family and your dad so much. So we consider them as our family. Then we thought, okay, we'll ask Shivatmanandaji because he used to come here. He did Kathopanishad for us. Dr. Nair knows other things also. And Dr. Nair, do you want to say about annual program?
No, nothing more than what you have said.
Okay, so annual program.
The Baylor program?
The Baylor program.
Oh, okay. This has been going on for over 10 years now. Baylor University, their theology students and philosophy students come here once a year, usually in September, October, usually late September, and about 200 to 210 students come over, and we give them a tour of the temple, and then a lecture by Swami Shivatmananda. Ever since he joined Chinmaya Mission Austin, he has been, to use the term, recruited to do the presentation, and he has been more than willing to do that, and it was very well received, and they look forward to coming back again and again, and we are very fortunate to have Swami Shivatmananda. And now that we are having you here, and if Swami Shivatmananda cannot make it, maybe count on you too.
Of course.
Okay.
Even if Shivatmananji can make it, I would love to listen to his speech.
Oh,
I always love to be in satsang with Swamiji. So if he's there, you tell me and I'll come for him.
Okay. It'll be in the fall this year again, and the last one was a virtual one. So but it was very well conducted on YouTube, and organized by our own priest Sri Ram. He's a technical wizard, and the people who came from Baylor University.
Thank you. And then the third way, I thought I used to fill in once in a while when Swami Shivatmananda used to ask me when he was out of town to come to Austin Chinmaya Mission to engage some of the parents. So I said, oh, can I ask for a payback? No, but then what worked out was Murali, and he's right with us. And why not just ask Murali? And then thank you so much for honoring our request.
Oh,
And
of course.
really,
Murali ji is one of our most amazing Balavihar teachers. So anything he needs, I'm there. I enjoy being in his classroom when I can be there, but yeah, of course.
And Murali is very convincing too. So.
You didn't have to convince me much. You just asked me and I'm ready.
Every now and then Jyoti Karta updates me on everything that is going on.
Oh yes, she's an amazing Balavihar coordinator. My Balavihar family, anything, I'll do anything for them. So they have that on me.
thank you. Thank you. And that's 8:15, so we can conclude. If you want to do one Shanti mantra before we do.
Yes, sure. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Well, that concludes today's session, and we'll meet again tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Hopefully we will not have the hiccups we had today in getting it started. We had changed some, we had to change some sign-in options in the system. So with that, we conclude. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Shubhratri.
Hari Om.
Suchita ji.